Joining us now by phone is a spokesman for the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation District 2, Timothy Nebgen. Thank you for being with us, Timothy.
Thanks. It's a pleasure to be here.
Hey, what can you tell us about the road conditions right now in Pennsylvania and what that's leading to?
Sure. So right now, the counties in my district, which cover the north central part of the state, they're reporting some wet roadways with freezing condition or snow and slush covered roadways. So anybody who does need to be out traveling tonight, we urge that they use a lot of caution.
Certainly, and for a lot of folks, this is the first go-around of the season, at least dealing with accumulating snow. Is the first event of the season typically a little bit more dangerous?
Our crews are prepared to handle things, but there seems to be a little bit of an adjustment period for drivers on Pennsylvania highways. They get used to the warm weather, and that first event, they need to be reminded to use caution, increase their following distance between other vehicles and things of that nature.
It sounds like what happened on Interstate 80 in the area of DuBois and Penfield, that may be outside of your district. Do you have any information on that? Or are you concerned about some of the conditions that are occurring there leading to more of that in your district?
So I'm actually pleased to inform you that the incident that you're referring to on Interstate 80 in DuBois that has reopened. There is some residual traffic delays because we need to get the truck drivers going again. So there will be some residual delays in clearing up that traffic queue, but the incident and the roadway is open at this point. But our advice to Pennsylvania motorists during this storm and any storm, frankly, is that if you can postpone any unnecessary travel, please do so. If you don't have that luxury, if you must be on the road, again, slow down, increase your following distance between the vehicle in front of you, and always buckle up.
You said a big tip there is just slowing down. I know portions of these interstates previously did have reduced speed limits. Is that something you're expecting to have in place through the rest of this evening and tonight?
We will definitely be monitoring the conditions, and we will, of course, try to lift those restrictions as soon as it is safe to do so. At this point, we do have some restrictions in place on Interstate 80 from exit 42 to the Interstate 81 interchange, I-99 in Center County, all the way down through Blair and the southern central counties of the state. It is closed in its entirety. And also US 322 from State College to Route 17 are experiencing those 45-mile-an-hour speed limit restrictions, and commercial vehicles are restricted to the right lane. And so that is definitely something that is going to continue for the foreseeable future, but we will, of course, we will reestablish the standard speed limits as soon as it is safe and prudent to do so.
Certainly, and as we watch some of these cameras on the screen right now, clearly some impacts from this first impactful snow of the season. Timothy Nebgen, spokesman for the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation, thank you for talking with us here on Fox Weather. We hope folks get everywhere they're going there in Pennsylvania safely.
I'm Amy Freeze. Welcome to Fox Weather's YouTube page. We have more great videos on the way, so make sure to subscribe to stay updated on all things weather.